That's
Thanks.
not what friends do. Friends don't do that to people they care about.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, they don't awkward. Like, so we've had some really good awkward intros. Like my favorite one, we got Donnie. Like, he wasn't that he was cussing. It was just like what he was swearing about. My kids were laughing their butts off. They thought it was so funny.
Nice.
So, all right, I do the cough noise. That lets Kev know when to do the introduction part. So I go.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome, family and new friends, to PSVG OT. I'm your host, Coach Hulk, aka Coach Mo, and I'm joined today by the amazing, wonderful person, Mr. Luke Lohr. Luke, how are you, sir?
Cool. Sorry, it doubled up on my audio. Did you say hi?
You're good. You're good. All right.
I'm really glad. My bad.
No, you're all right. It's all new. It's all brand new experiences, dude. I'm just really glad to have you here. Like, I had a blast doing the State of the Xbox Empire with you. That what was it, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah. Oh, that was so much fun. We did Xbox E3 predictions, but I was fresh off an episode of doing E3 predictions for Xbox the night before, so I had all new. I had time to like fix my ideas. It was fun. It was fun.
I really felt like you knocked it out of the park. Like, when I went back and listened, I was like, oh man, some of mine, that Zoo Tycoon one's gonna bite me in the butt. I know it. My kids have been making fun of me. It's like, they're already making a game, coach. I'm like, but guys, it's so easy to just take this and move it into something else. Like, I'm telling you, like, those games do pretty well, like, on the Xbox. That's why they have so many.
And honestly, Xbox is such a toss-up right now. Like, we don't know. We have no idea what to expect from them right now. They could be amazing, and they could spit out something weird. I've heard rumors on both ends of that spectrum.
Yeah, it's a wide open world. We have no idea what's coming. Now, here at PSVOT, we are a community relation building podcast where we want to get to know people better. We want to share those memories. The second thing we do is we're really big on unpreparedness. So, have I prepared you in any way, shape, or form for the things we are about to discuss?
You told me the name of the podcast.
Yep.
And that I would have been Dev tonight, except Dev's not here. So that's as much prep as I've got.
There you go. That's good stuff. Now, our question today, our big topic was, what was the biggest change of luck moment you've ever had? So I'll go first to give you time to think.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the kids in the Wayback Machine to pre-college coach. Now, pre-college coach was a 6'8", 355-pound defensive lineman on his way to a Division I school to play football on a full-ride football scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have anything. I had my Bronco, and I had a little bit of like clothes, but I didn't have much. And I knew that getting there was going to be the hard part. Getting to the school was going to be the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I did what any smart, brand new 18-year-old would do. I took $20 and I went to the casino in the center, Washington, and I was going to win that money. I was going to take that $20 because I'm pretty good at poker. I have a good poker face. I was like, I'm gonna take this money. I'm gonna turn it into the money to get the gas to drive where I have to go.
And that always works.
Oh yeah, it's literally, Las Vegas is built on people who have made millions of dollars doing that exact same idea.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
So I drive up with my best friend Rob. We get in the car together. Now Rob's 19 or 20 at the time, and he's much smarter than I am. He's like, this is a really bad idea. I'll just loan you the money. You'll drive down. You'll be fine. I'm like, no, I'm going to do this. It's going to work. I'm a genius. No one's ever thought of this plan. It's only me. So we drive up. I take my $20. And get into this tournament. And I'm getting my butt handed to me at that table in the first 5 hands. I am playing cards that you never play because I think they're good. I'm like, well, I've got King 7 off suit. That could totally be great. Horrible decisions were being made. Like, These old men were taking me to the ringer. Like I was like, what am I doing? And so I'm down to, I want to say less than like 25 chips. I think my money bought me, I think it was like 100 and some change.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I'm about to lose. I'm about to get knocked out of this tournament. In the first table, within 30 minutes, I've lost my $20.
Oh,
Then I get lucky.
okay.
And I'm not talking like Maverick Lucky, that old movie with the blind card. I get handed a pair of pocket aces, right?
Ooh.
Really, really great hand. And
Yeah.
I know, but I wanted to go all in. For some reason, I didn't. I held on. We go through. I end up winning a big chunk of change on that one. They got my chips back.
Hmm.
I went through the rest of the night, literally limping and bleeding off that stack, and ended up walking away with about $200. I think I took sixth place.
Mm-hmm.
That was enough to get me gas to get to Oregon State. And I'll remember that because it was one of those things where I literally was like, I'm about to lose this whole $20, which means I won't have enough gas to get halfway there. I was freaking out and I got lucky, and I had a very big growing moment on why gambling is bad. Why gambling is a horrible decision when you're 18.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the life experience to know what you're doing. And had I not gotten lucky, things could have gotten tough.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest change of luck moment. Luke, what's yours?
Oh man. Does it have to be good luck?
It can be bad luck too.
Okay. So the whole time you've been telling your story, I was postulating everything that you were saying, and when I think about good luck stuff, I nothing was coming to mind, which is just, it happens when you do a live show. Sometimes it messes with you.
Yeah.
But I'm 32 now. I know what you're thinking right now. Man, this guy is devastatingly handsome and got to be like 21. No, I'm 30
for sure. That was actually when I first met you. I was like, why do we have a model like in our gaming podcast? Because
right.
they should be off in New York doing orange frappuccinos.
I've been compared to Solo.
Yeah, no surprise here, sir.
Yeah, especially at 10:50 not at night. But no, so I was thinking about change of luck moments, and for me, when I think about like big changes in my life, they all kind of, I had this phase in my life that was just super dark and frustrating and bad, and it was because of that time that I kind of like emerged from it. And I could pull all the Obi-Wan, I don't believe in luck type things. But there was a phase where I lost everything I had. I went from being a teacher, I taught sixth grade at the time, and that school shut down. I was engaged at the time when I was much younger to somebody who, not my wife now, to the wrong person. It was just bad, just bad mix, and but a wonderful person, but bad mix. And I lost my best friend. He made some poor choices in life, and he had to go away. And so all of that happened in 1 month time. I lost everything I had, and I ended up living out of my car for a little bit. And I had to move back home with my parents. And I know that sounds like this big sob story, and it could look at it that way, but that going home, kind of losing everything moment allowed me to rebuild on a much stronger foundation. So my biggest change of luck moment, reevaluating how to be a good teacher, reevaluating how to be a good man, how to be a good boyfriend, thus future husband to my wonderful wife now. Reevaluating how to manage money and how to manage friendships. So losing everything allowed me to build this amazing life that I have now. Right now I teach 8th grade. I've been back in teaching for let's see, it's my 8th year. So this is my 5th year back in teaching. I had to work retail at a GameStop for a little while. For 2 years actually. And so losing everything was at the time horrible luck, hit rock bottom kind of thing, but it allowed me to rebuild in such a great way thanks to amazing people around me. So that's my biggest change of luck moment. And it sounds like a sob story, but it truly was awesome, but I needed it to be bad for it to be good later.
No, and that's awesome. Like, I love stories like that for my kids because they learn like we are gonna have some really bad times. Like there's gonna be some roads that they're so rocky that you just want to sit down and not move.
Hmm.
And hearing like more people who bring themselves through that, it's just awesome for them. It's really good to hear. So I appreciate it. That's a great one.
Yeah.
I did pull up a question. We have this is called a curveball when you're on the show,
All
and it's
right.
when we hear something or we want to kind of throw something at you. As a fellow GameStop employee, see, it's been my summer job. See, I'm a PE teacher, and at
Hmm.
most school districts, we don't get paid in the summer. Okay,
Right.
we're not, it's just how it works.
Hmm.
And so I've been working at GameStop now. This will be year 10. This is
Hmm.
my 11th year of teaching.
Hmm.
Um, my question to you: what was your favorite part of working at the GameStop, and what was your least favorite part of working at the GameStop?
Oh, that's dangerous. Um, my favorite part about working at GameStop was being surrounded by people who were interested in what I was interested in. I think sometimes as nerds or as gamers, we you coach and I've coached soccer for many years, and I was also a martial artist and stuff like that. Like I was athletic, but a nerd at heart and in my mind. And gaming was what I loved. But I grew up, none of my sports friends were gamers. None of my school people respected gaming, teachers and parents at the time. They weren't into gaming. So being surrounded by gamers and people that enjoyed the same things I liked, and getting to have conversations about developers and game development times, and talking to people who just were interested in the art of it, because games compile, art that you draw, art that you animate, art that you listen to through music and scores and sound bites. There's so much creation involved, and getting to talk to people that cared about that stuff beyond press A to shoot or press A to jump. No one presses A to shoot anymore, but you know what I mean. Like getting to talk to people that cared about that
Yeah,
stuff was really neat. And then I got to visit Epic. That was kind of neat. I got to go visit Epic when they were making gears. That was pretty cool.
no, that would be amazing. So my favorite part about working for GameStop was always knowing when releases were coming because I'm a collector's edition fiend.
Uh,
This move we're making to Florida, I got rid of most of my collector's editions. Like that was a tough thing,
mhm.
but now I get to start over, and so I'm kind of looking at what's coming in the future and like, ooh, this one looks good or this one looks good. Those PS4 SCUF controllers will be mine. I've already gotten the pre-orders set up for when I get there, but there
Back
will be,
pedals.
yep, yep,
Gotcha.
very excited. And then the other one, that Shadow of the Tomb Raider game, their collector's edition, very hyped for that one too. So I'm hoping I can snag one of those when I move. So, and then my worst part, the thing I disliked the most about working at the GameStop was I hated opening. I hated opening the store. And the
Mhm.
reason why is every time so for people who haven't worked at the GameStop, when you get in there, the TV that plays that loop of GameStop TV over and over and over again is
Uh-huh.
not on. It turns on at a specific moment 10, 15 minutes before you open.
Mhm.
However, I would always forget this. It would always come on and scare the bejesus out of me, and I would
Mhm.
almost guaranteedly drop something. And this happened all the time.
Mhm.
So I started setting alarms on my phone. All right, I have to get to the store at 9. My alarm will be going off at 9:45. That will remind me GameStop TV is about to pop on.
Mhm.
So just did not like that. That was horrible.
Okay, I'm gonna call an audible on this one, and I'm gonna cheat because I'm gonna give you three things.
That's allowed. We,
N-
we fully believe in the audible.
All right, good stuff. All right, so the first thing I disliked about working at GameStop, and there are a lot of positives, but the negatives that stand out. Um, I don't know about your stores, but I worked at several over the course of 2 years, and the bathrooms always had stock in them, and that was always uncomfortable because the bathrooms had stock in them. And so you'd see an Xbox near you, and you'd be like, oh, that's weird. So that was a horror. That was just like, oh, that's gross and weird. But as far as other dislikes that are more humorous, I think I was always scared of the safe. The safe scared everything from me because if you typed it in wrong, it would lock after, it would lock down. If you didn't get it just right, it would lock down. So the safe always scared me because I teach English and numbers and money scare me to death. And then when you clopen, when you're closing and then opening the next day, or or whatnot, and you've got to lock up the store properly. But then you're the one coming in, and then there's a temptation not to. Locking down the store and setting the alarms was always terrifying to me because like you set the alarm and you get 60 seconds or so to get out. But I somehow, in this time that it would take a normal human being 10 seconds to get out, I would think that as soon as I press the button for the 60-second countdown to start, I would somehow think that it skipped 58 of those seconds and I only had 2 seconds to get out.
Yeah.
So like the back in the 90s, the white girl trying to lock her keys in the Scary Movie, I could never get the key to work. And I would always be terrified that I would not lock it properly and the alarm would go off. And every now and again, I totally failed to do it, Coach. And that long alarm would go off, and then I'd have to call GameStop and call whomever and be like, hey.
The security company calls you to make sure.
Yeah, and then it
cost
GameStop money when that happens, to which secretly I was always thinking, well, you're paying me minimum wage. What are you going to do? But then you can't do that. So yeah, like
No.
the blonde in a Scary Movie, I would drop my keys or I would fumble and inevitably set the alarm off, and there you go. That's what would happen. That I hated that.
I was always lucky. Due to my height, I could almost always grab that metal grate we had to pull down and lock. However, because it was so low on the ground, that lock, there were many times when I didn't actually lock it and then would go to pull on it to make sure it was locked and go, oh crap, it's not locked, and I have to do it again. Then I was also doing the fumble of, am I getting out on time? Is the alarm going to go off? Am I going to get that phone call? So
right.
I actually got one of those phone calls last week because I'm still on, even though I put in my 2 weeks because of the move. Somebody evidently didn't close on time. They're like, I wish I want to give you a heads up. The store is still open. What's going on? I'm like, I no longer work there. I can't help you. I have no idea. Please take me off this list.
That is simultaneously funny and terrifying.
Yeah. All right. Now we're moving to the student questions, and I pulled a good grab bag. We had a surprise for Dev, and Dev will listen to this. So Dev, you let my kids down. I want you to remember that. I want you to let it sit in. They're right now watching on the YouTube. Little Shy's crying. Fabio's, in the fetal position on the ground going, Dev, why? But it's okay. Because we have more questions. And we pulled the grab bag out, and now we've got Mr. Luke ready to knock these out. So our first question from my kids, how did you decide what you wanted to do for your first job?
For my first job, I'm trying to think what my first job was. I want to say lifeguard. I think my first job was a lifeguard because I hate working. Let me rephrase that. I don't like manual labor. That's what I mean to say. I don't like manual labor. And so when you're a kid and you get all these odd jobs and they usually involve mowing lawns and
lifting things, moving things.
Yeah. I'd always be like, this is sweaty and I don't like it. Which is, those who know me, that's such a Luke thing to say. I know. So I was like, all right, I need a job where I feel like a hero, because my goal in life is to be a hero. I know that seems silly. I'm 32, but that's why I'm a teacher. Also, I want to be someone's hero and be a hero for people. But I was like, in my mind, hero meant saving people. So I was like, all right, I'll be a lifeguard. To this day, I legit cannot swim very well. And I'm not joking. I sink. I'm not a good swimmer at all.
Tough thing to do as a lifeguard, not be a good swimmer.
I think the important thing to remember is when you're taller than 5 feet and you only guard a 5-foot pool, you're the man.
Yeah. There you go. Not a lot to worry about.
Yeah, and I legit saved several people over the course of those 3 summers. We did the full backboard thing and everything. I didn't have to do compressions on anyone. I did breathe for somebody. So I felt like I was the man, but I took the course through my high school, and I guess now it's okay. I totally cheated on that swim test because I could not make 500 yards. And I feel terrible about it because that was 16 years ago. I felt terrible about it because I cannot swim. But I loved being a lifeguard, and I decided I wanted to be a hero. So I was the hero that completely did not finish his course properly. And man, if I could go back and change some things, I would have worked a lot harder at that swim test.
That was actually one of my favorites. So, my wife and I coached swim team for 2 years, and we loved it. One of my favorite sports I've ever done. I wish we could do more with swim team, but because of the way football kind of interacts with my schedule, there's no time. There's no time to do another sport, especially when here in Texas and in Florida, both of them, it was like a fall sport that led up into the winter, which is like when football's at its heaviest. Um, what I liked about it though was that swim test is brutal, man.
Yeah.
Did you have to go down and get the weight?
It was awful. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And thankfully, there were too many people in there for the teacher to count.
I actually did really well. I have a pretty good butterfly and I have a pretty good backstroke. Not real great freestyle. Just true story. Like I butterfly better than I freestyle, which is not a natural way to save somebody.
No.
But I really loved swim team and had a blast with it. The kids really enjoyed it, so that was good. But man, so when I looked for my first job, I am a very what does this do for me kind of person. So when I look at things, I'm constantly going, what is the benefit to me in it? Example, like when I picked a system, when I had to pick between Xbox and PS4 at the beginning, the thing that I saw that gave me the most benefit was that Xbox's party chat was proven from the 360. So it was trusted, works for me, I'm in. That's why I went that route. So when I was looking at my first jobs and I had to make that choice, I was looking at the perks. And I actually teach my kids about this now. I went and worked at a place called USA Subs because the manager loved our high school football team. And he literally, the moment I started working there, I ate there for free 5 days a week, even though I only worked 8 hours due to great care of me. And so the perk was me eating. I tell my kids the same thing. I'm like, you want to look for a job, look for the perks. You want to take a girl to the movies, go work at Regal Cinemas. You get 2 free tickets every time you work. There you go. That's money in your pocket right there. Instead of paying $15 to go to the movie, you save that and you spend $100 on food.
And if you want to work on your tan and listen to 5-year-olds, you become a lifeguard.
And be a hero. Let's not forget that part.
Right. And as you can tell, I've tanned quite well.
Yeah, you look great.
Thanks,
And
man.
you really. Our next one. Do you think Battle Royale will last? Do you think that we're going to see 5 years of continued Battle Royale success, or do you think there's a life limit?
There's a life limit on all game types. I think the gaming industry ebbs and flows. As with anything, genres of games, which genres don't actually exist. Those exist for us because we need sections at a movie store or at a game store. But you know, everything's got RPG elements now. Everything's got elements of other genres in there. So the genres don't actually exist. That's a word we made up for convenience. But as far as specific to Battle Royale, the Battle Royale genre will ebb and flow, and there will always be a niche for it. But keep in mind that Battle Royale has been around for a lot longer than we've called it Battle Royale. We called it free for all. Halo did it. Doom did it. Back in whenever I don't know how. I think you're about my age, but Doom back on like Doom 2 on the PC that had free for all modes and different mods and whatnot. So I think Battle Royale will absolutely have its time. I'm actually very excited that Black Ops 4 is doing it, which I came around. My first thought was like, "Ooh, gross! Why is Call of Duty doing it?" But then the more I thought about it, I was like, "Oh, I never finished Black Ops 3's campaign, and who does shooting mechanics better than Call of Duty?"
Nobody, in my opinion. Nobody.
Maybe not. I would argue Respawn, but those are ex-Infinity War guys, and half of them went back just now anyway.
Yep.
So you know, like that's the end. It's a good engine. But it's also a really old engine. They just keep reskinning it, but it's a good proven engine for shooters. The idea that they would do something the Black Ops way with blackout mode. I think Halo is another good candidate for Battle Royale, but I'm not answering your question. I think it'll go away in mass popularity in another year and a half, 2 years, but it'll always be around in one form or another.
See, I view it the same way I view the big literature. And so what I mean by that is we had Harry Potter. And about, I'm going to say probably 2 years, 3 years after that last book, you weren't, like there were still Harry Potter fans, those diehards, but it wasn't a populist thing. Then we had Hunger Games. And then 2 years after that, again, we still have some people who are diehard fans, but the main group had moved on to something new.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're getting to that within the next, like you said, I'm going to say 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is I'm already seeing kids fatigue on these games. Okay, first it was PUBG. Then my kids moved to Fortnite. Now they're moving to other things. And as I watch them stop talking about Fortnite more and start talking about other games, I feel like that 4,000 student population is a pretty good pull for me to go, if this group is moving on, eventually more are going to follow. And as that wanes, so I'm saying about 2 years, and I'm in the same boat.
If I could offer anecdotal evidence, not to the contrary, but just almost as a tertiary, I think with the ebbs and flows, PUBG costs money. The reason that Fortnite gained such popularity is it was free and it was multi-platform for consoles. I mean, because PUBG is also available on PC.
Yeah.
But H1Z1 just launched on PlayStation, and that is all that Mr. Lohr, me, heard about all week was H1Z1. That game's been around forever, but everybody was talking about it in my classrooms because it was hitting PlayStation. So I think it's a matter of demographic targeting. You look at your Harry Potter example is well taken. Harry Potter hit its prime whilst Lord of the Rings hit its prime, while Star Wars prequels were becoming a thing because everyone was interested in sagas. It wasn't so much just the literature aspects, because like you get Hunger Games, then you get Divergent, then you get the Fifth Wave and all the ones that kind of cloned it. Lord of the Rings had a few clones, but they fizzled out, like Aragon and whatnot. They all have their own clones, but they all develop those niche audiences. I think it depends on how available it is. Suddenly, Battle Royale is popular because it hit our phones. You know, Fortnite is available to be played anywhere, and if it's able to run it, it's going to hit Switch soon. And it all comes down to cost and barrier to entry. And Fortnite's got a low barrier to entry. Call of Duty doesn't. And I think that'll be a good litmus test because it's got the Call of Duty name, but it's got a $60 price tag. That'll be where we really see if that's going to last, because Fortnite's free. Fortnite's free.
No, man. Whew, that's good sauce. All right. Our next one, what is your go-to pizza of choice? I'll go first. Mine is barbecue chicken with onion. That's probably my favorite. I have a couple places to make a really good one locally. The best one is Numero 21 up in Austin. Does a really good job. Luke?
Go-to pizza of choice is cheese, and that's because that's all I can eat. I have a weird stomach, and we don't have a go-to pizza place anymore because it closed down. So the Red Baron frozen thin crust cheese pizzas, they're way better than they have any right to be.
Yep, not the Baron. Our next one, your favorite pet story.
Oh. Okay, tough question for me. We put down my childhood dog on Monday. No, it's okay. It's okay. I realize it sounds very morbid, but tough question just in and of itself. My favorite pet story, my dog now was my wife's dog. My wife raised her from a puppy. And Shelby she's 9 now. And she's now my dog. She's not my wife's dog anymore. She's mine. No matter what my wife pretends to say. I don't know if she's still watching, but she was earlier. You're wrong, baby. She's mine. To be the first time when my wife and I were dating, we lived in separate cities. So the first time that she came to stay with me with Shelby, which is our dog, was very nerve-wracking for all of us because I knew on our first date that I was going to marry my wife. I knew. I texted it to my friend. I knew I was going to marry her. She didn't know that, but I did. And you got to win the dog. You got to win the dog. So on our first date, I brought her tennis balls to give to her dog for down the line. Totally a baller move, by the way, gentlemen, ladies, do that. Win the puppy. But when she brought the puppy, or Shelby, who was 7 at the time, to my apartment in a different city, that was the litmus test. All right, are we going to be compatible as a couple? And in the first 2 minutes of being there, Shelby climbed up into my lap, licked my face, turned, looked at my wife, who happened to snap a picture at that perfect moment. Looked over at my wife like, "What up now?"
Respect.
Yeah. So Shelby and I, best friends, Insta buddies. I love her more than anything on earth, except my wife. But yeah, that's my favorite story because Shelby just climbed right in my lap, and it was like instant perfection.
Nice.
Nothing could have been written better. That.
Wow, that's great. Mine actually is very similar. Of a dog that was my wife's that became mine. When we'd been married for 2 years, and we had just gotten both of us our first full-time teaching jobs.
Mhm.
I was going to be teaching kindergarten through second grade PE. She was teaching third grade.
Wait, hold on.
And so-
I have to interrupt you.
Oh.
You're both teachers?
Yeah, my wife and I.
You guys are loaded rich. That's amazing.
Yep, making the big cash.
Congratulations.
However, she just took a principal job in Orlando, and that's why we're moving. So she's
Congratulations for real.
moving into the admin spot. I'm still job hunting, but hopefully I'm if I have to sub, I'll sub. Like I'll make it work.
Right.
But we just got in these jobs, and she's like, I really want a dog, and I was like, I've never really had a pet. We tried to have a cat. It was the most awful week of my life. I said, we need to give this thing a different home. Gave it to my buddy Lohr. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not a pet guy.
Mm-hmm.
So she begs, and I'm like, I just want you to be happy. So yeah, let's get you a dog. So we drive an hour. This lady's giving this dog away for free because she's moving. And we get this 6 months old Brittany Spaniel. Now, Brittany's are very hyper.
Mm-hmm.
This dog gets into my expedition and is going nuts. Like my wife's in the back holding it, like petting on it, loving it, giving it treats. It tries to come lick me, and I'm like, do not touch me. You stay in the back. You give me my space. The next week, this dog and I have this, nope, you're her dog. You stay away from me. And like she would want the attention, but I'm like, I'm not about this.
Mm-hmm.
Then that Friday night, it was a bye week. My wife's cheer team was at the volleyball game, so she was at the volleyball game, and I was home alone with this dog.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing some Madden. Dog jumps up into my lap, lays down. I'm like, okay. So I start playing more Madden. Dog licks me a little bit. I'm like, okay. In the middle of the game, I'm like, do you need anything? Like, this is just how this works. We just cuddle. By the end of that weekend, me and Daisy were inseparable. She sleeps next to me every night. My wife no longer gets to snuggle. Like Daisy comes right in the middle, puts her face on my shoulder, and is like, this is my Papa Bear. This is where I belong. I'm her best friend. She's my best friend. It's been the best 8 years together, me and Daisy. I love my wife. And my wife always jokes that like if I had to choose between Daisy and her, I might go towards Daisy. I always say I'm big enough, I'll try to say both. But just love that dog. And so that best moment was that mad moment of having her jump in my lap and me realizing like this dog, this being just wants love, and that's all I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to worry about anything else. And so it kind of made me a pet person. Now we have 2 dogs who we absolutely adore. So moving on, your feel-good food.
Cookies.
Nice.
Cookies. I didn't even have to think about it. Cookies are they were a divine gift from whatever deity anyone believes in.
Yeah.
Cookies exist to make people happy. They
Favorite
exist
kind?
to make me squishy. And I am convinced, and I'm so not joking here. My wife makes the best cookies I've ever had in my life. Sorry, late grandma. Shout out to you. My wife makes better cookies.
Stay strong.
But I am so serious when I think my wife sometimes makes cookies so that I can be squishier. If we don't have time to work out or whatnot, she'll be like, I should make my husband some cookies. And then I'm gonna eat them because they're delicious. And then I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I hate you. What do? I have a cookie to feel better.
It helps ease the pain.
Right? It does.
My comfort food's always been chicken tacos. I prefer a hard shell. It doesn't have to be like hard. It can just be like a corn or flour tortilla that's gotten a little bit of burntness to it. But yeah, any kind of chicken. My favorite one's probably the one there's one in Portland, Oregon called Muchas Gracias. Very, very good place. Makes a good chicken taco.
Mm-hmm.
Our next one, What do you look forward to the most in the next 12 months? And they ask for three things: a thing to buy, a thing to see, and a thing to do.
Okay, look forward through most in the next 12 months or 6 months?
12 months.
Buy, see, and do.
Yep.
Okay. Um, um, I already got married, so the easy answer is gone. So in the next 12 months, what I'm looking forward to buying, oh, Hulk, I'm messing up your whole show. I'm forgetting. So I'm looking
You
for
cannot mess up the OT. Like, we're built on unpreparedness. You're totally fine, man.
All right, so is Avengers Infinity War Part 2 in the next 12 months? It is, right?
Let's say yes. Let's say
Okay.
yes.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that because I have questions. I'm looking forward to buying whatever Microsoft is putting out in the holiday season.
Nice.
I'm just like, whatever that is. I've heard Gears spinoff. I've heard Gears 5. I've heard Halo spinoff. I've heard Halo 6. Not all four of those things can can coexist.
Yeah,
So whatever happens there, I'll buy. And so see, buy, and then do. Go on vacation, and by that I mean like it's been a very taxing year emotionally with my students at school. I live in North Carolina, so there's a lot of teacher frustration across there, and I genuinely am excited for summer, and I've never been excited for summer before. It's too much downtime. I much prefer my students. I love my kids. I love teaching. This time I think I need a break, and that's new for me. That's very new for me to want a break. But yeah, that's where I'm at. There you go.
All right. For me, the thing I'm looking forward to seeing is our new apartment in Orlando. I'm very nervous about this whole move, only because we're leaving a 4-bedroom house and we're moving into a 1-bedroom apartment. This has put a lot of stress on me. I'm not 100% sure how we're supposed to pull this off, but I believe, therefore, we will do. I'm most excited to go back to Disney World. That's like the thing to do that I'm really jacked about. I just enjoy walking and like watching my wife. Like, my wife loves Disney. Like, she's a hook, line, sinker Disney fan for life. And so seeing her like get all joy filled, even though like I could care less, it's the same as when she hears me running in going, the ending to Gears 4, I loved it. It was this, this, and this, or I love this game, or I love this sporting thing. And I remember like when I realized her love for Disney is the exact same as my love for like Madden. Okay. All right. Then I can't wait to go watch her love Disney. So that would be the other one. And the thing to buy, I really am hoping that Rage 2 is going to be good. So I'm going to put that as my thing to buy because I know it's coming. I know it's coming, and I want to enjoy it. I think it'll be fun. I love open world games. So there we go.
Did you like Mad Max?
I did. I wish there would have been a little less focus on the car and a little more focus on this giant world we had. I thought could have been really cool. So
I think it's a lot of the same team too. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. I have to check that.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Now, when we wrap up this show, which we've gotten here, we've gotten to the end. I'm very, very proud of us. I know.
It went very quickly.
This is what the OT is about, man. We get in, we knock it out. Life's good. We always like to wrap up talking about Game of the Year 2018. So right now, sir, what is your Game of the Year?
I've not played a Game of the Year, and I'm not saying that to be flippant. I've not played God of War because right around the time God of War came out, I had started attempting to experience Mixer. So Mixer kind of became my meta game, and I don't have Mixer for my PS4, and I don't have a PC. So streaming straight from Xbox is there, and Xbox has not produced a Game of the Year quality game. I don't have a good answer for you, and I'm not avoiding your question. I'm wrapping up Far Cry 5 right now, and it's good, but it's not special. Nothing that I've played this year has given me Breath of the Wild or Witcher 3 or Metal Gear Solid 5 quality vibes. I think for a lot of people, that game has been God of War. I know some people spoke that Celeste was really special, but neither of those games have I played. And Far Cry 5 is just Far Cry, so I wasn't overly enthralled with it. But I played a lot of great games, and I've had a lot of fun with games, but I've also been enjoying just kind of enjoying back compat games and older stuff and Game Pass for fiscal reasons and just for fun. So I don't have a good answer for you because I don't think I've experienced one yet. And I don't know which one it would be down the line. Red Dead 2 looks promising.
I absolutely love like how your brain works and how you like really have that thought process behind it, because I am one of those biased people that the moment I play something I like, game of the year. And so I've had like Kingdom Come Deliverance was my game of the year for a week. I think it might have been 2 weeks. Shai is one of my students. Check me on that. We'll announce it next week if I'm right or wrong. I think it was 1 week. But yeah, she's keeping track to see if I ever get one right. Because I always claim this is game of the year, and it never is.
What was your favorite last year?
My favorite last year was an indie title called Fragments of Him.
Never heard of it. And
Really,
I tend to be fairly well versed. Where did you play it?
Xbox One. I'm a big achievement fan.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Selfishly, what's your achievement score?
190,000, 180, somewhere on there.
Coach,
However,
114. I was so excited because I broke 100,000. I was like, I'm gonna be the man. I'm gonna show him what's up. Nope, not even close.
And the thing that makes this funny is I was at 70,000 when I moved here 3 years ago. I was less than that. I was like 65,000. However, Nathan Thomas, Nader Todd, as we like to call him, yep, Spider Jedi, he was ahead of me, and we had just become friends. Like literally the week I moved to San Antonio, it was been about 3 years ago, almost to the day. We started playing games together online together, and I was like, I don't like that he's ahead of me. I'm too competitive, and he was up on me by like 25K. So I caught him up past him. Then our buddy Ray was like 130, caught him up past him, and now I'm well ahead of those guys by I want to say almost 60,000 a piece. Now they're both like, well, you just play Xbox. Yes, you're mostly right. I do play some PS4 and I do play some Switch, not a lot. But yeah, I love achievements. That 200K is going to be amazing. Very, very excited over 200K.
That is awesome.
All right. Now, when we get into my game of the year this year, it's one of those ones where I was so like I'm so shocked that I'm going to be saying this that I'm almost embarrassed. Like, because everybody else I hear is complaining about it, but goodness am I loving it. State of Decay 2 is my game of the year. Now, this is probably my 5th or 6th different game of the year since we started doing this. But man, do I love State of Decay 2. Last night, I jumped in with the Lobo Rican, our boy Dan Anthony, one of the big PSVG fans out there. I think he likes Flux the Pose better, but we don't talk about that. And one of I think it was one of Lobo's friends, and those two proceeded to wreak havoc on zombies and vehicles alike. They got my truck stuck in between two mountain, like in a valley where it was flipped and we couldn't move it. There's just random pandemonium happening all over the place, and I loved every single second of it. Today I got to play with Brian and Ray, and we were doing missions, and I had my character like literally almost dead, and I go, I am not getting out of this Jeep for anything. You can't make me. And then I had to get out of the Jeep to save somebody. And I just love the way it is. There are some things that I don't like. I have some knocks. But right now, because of the way I'm playing it, this is my game of the year, because to me, the game of the year is the one I'm enjoying the most. And I'm enjoying State of Decay 2.
I popped State of Decay 2. I mean, I have Game Pass. If I could recommend anybody, Game Pass is awesome. And play Skyforce. It's really fun.
Yep. Oh, man. Love that game.
So, State of Decay is, from what I have played so far, it's more State of Decay, which is awesome. I love it. The jank is almost a feature. It's something that we come to expect. And I thoroughly enjoy State of Decay. But I find that gaming in general is all about mood, what mood you're in. Like, I hated Far Cry 5, but I loved Far Cry 5, but then I hated it, but then I loved it. It was all about my mood. And like, sometimes you don't want to execute the brain power to play a new game, learn new systems. as I've been enjoying streaming more and more. Well, I have a hard time streaming a game I haven't played much of or I haven't played recently, because then I need to listen and tune in and focus, and I can't vamp and talk to people and stuff while focusing. So I've been playing it offline, and from what I'm finding, it's very much State of Decay 1. But I was listening to another podcast by some of our friends, and as you level up past the 6-hour mark or so, suddenly there's drones involved, and you can become a warlord and things like that. And that I find is hidden in the first 6 hours, that anybody who wasn't big on State of Decay 1, they would dismiss State of Decay 2. Is that your experience?
So I played a lot of State of Decay, the first one, but on the 360. I never came back to it on the Xbox One.
Gotcha.
I think the thing that's been bugging me the most is the base building seems to be not as good. And so I'm kind of like, I wish that was going to be different. I ran to a situation where so far, no one in my party has died. And I think I'm 4, 5, 6 hours in. My sheriff, or I don't have a sheriff, I do have a warlord. But it's only because somebody shot at me. And I was like, you're not shooting at my best character. Like, I'm not letting this person die. So I ended up wreaking havoc on those 3 NPCs. And so my character became a warlord due to this. And we moved to a bigger base. However, the sound issue, I don't remember that in State of Decay. See, I'm getting attacked more and more and more because they say my base is producing too much sound. They're saying that my beds are making sounds. Like, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, this isn't even fun. And so those things can be very annoying, very trying. However, the interaction with my friends when we're playing, I actually am preferring the game jumping into someone else's world. Just going in, running, helping, doing things, fighting, leveling the character up. I'm really enjoying that piece of it. Going back into my world, I probably won't do that for another week or 2. I'll probably just keep jumping into other people's games and playing, having fun.
Do you think it's because you're absolved of responsibility, you don't have to worry about base building and all that other stuff, you can just do? So you have like sometimes we really want to be invested, cognitively into whatever it is we're doing. Other times we just want to go and play and just literally do just that play. Do you think that's the difference for you?
I think where the difference came for me in this one is it's like when you watch the Walking Dead TV show. My favorite season is the one where they get to the jail because they have a home and that home is set up and they're continually working on building the home. They're not always getting attacked. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're going out and doing things, but they have this base. I feel like if I've already wiped out the zombies in my area, I should have some free time. But when I go back to my base, I got attacked 4 or 5 different times due to the noise that my base is making. And I'm like, what noise is a bed really making, folks? Like, this is just, it is a bad mechanic. And I understand, like, when I say that, people are like, well, why is this your game of the year? It's my game of the year because I enjoy playing it. It's the same reason Kingdom Come Deliverance was my game of the year, because I enjoy playing it. It's the same reason I hope this year was, I said 2 weeks ago, was my game of the year, because it's telling me a story about cancer and beating cancer. And I loved it. I love that in an indie game. I love the way they're doing these things. But the reason this one is because I'm having so much fun playing with friends that if I can play the rest of this game just playing with my buddies in their game, helping them out, I'll still love it. But the base building, that issue, like you said, it's that I should not have to be worrying about my base every 5 minutes. I should be allowed to go enjoy this beautiful world, because that world is great. I love finding vehicles and climbing towers and doing all these different things. I enjoy the hunt of trying to go after hordes and removing plague hearts. But I just think that when I'm constantly being brought back to the same base, doing the same repetitive thing over and over and over again, there's an issue. And for some reason, when I'm in games with these other people, we're not experiencing that. I played with Ray for almost 2.5 hours a day. His base did not get attacked once. I played for 2 hours yesterday. My base got attacked at least 4 times in that hour and a half, 2 hours we played. So that's an issue for me, is that even though I've cleared all these things out, even though my base meter is cheerful, I'm still having to deal with that crap. Like, that's not a good mechanic. So.
That's interesting. I'm excited to play State of Decay, but I think I need to be at a mentally calmer place, just because, like, I've been, you're in education. We're in that testing phase time where everyone's stressed out. All the adults are nervous. The kids are tired. Everyone's exhausted. So when I come home, I need a low maintenance psychological game where it's not something I'm putting a ton of brain power into. So I'm so ready to enjoy State of Decay. It just popped at the slightly wrong time to me. But that's what I love about Game Pass, because it's mine. I'm going to play it at some point.
Yeah, you have the rest of the year and years after to play it.
Right.
All right. So as we wrap up the show, Luke, anything you want to put out there for the people, where to find you, where to catch you on Mixer, all that great stuff? Go right ahead, plug it now.
Hey, cool. I'm on Twitter at MLS Reserves, because I used to be a journalist for Major League Soccer, which was super cool. Fun stories there. And then I'm on Mixer at Insipid Ghost, and I'm sort of just trying to start making that a thing. And I'm deciding whether or not I want to be that to be a full pursuit, but I'm also balancing it to make sure it's not a job. It needs to be fun. So please go to mixer.com/insipidghost. Check out some of the VODs there. If I'm your cup of tea, follow me. If not, please don't follow out of obligation. I want people that organically enjoy it, and I want to organically enjoy making it. So yeah, that's where I would love for you guys to find me there. Say hi.
Awesome. Again, you can follow me at the Coach Hulk at all the places, on the Xbox, on the Twitter. I think that's everywhere. I've tried Mixer, but I like doing it just for me, so I can go back and see myself play things and how I can get better. I actually recently did a test one on Dota 2 to kind of see where I'm making my biggest mistakes, because I'm still having a hard time. Like, I work well with my team when they give me the directions, but I work really bad at actually figuring out for myself on where to go. And so I was doing a test one on that. And so I really enjoy using it as film. Just that's the football coach in me, like observe what you do, find out how to get better and conquer it.
Right.
And so again, you can follow me those places and we can have a good time. I'm falling in love with Steam and all the cool things on there. So if you have, like, if you're a Civ 5 fan, me and Luke, we've been playing together on that one and we really enjoy it. But otherwise, you can find me at, Lucas from Flex to Post.
There you go. Okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah, we had this ongoing one where we keep having problems with barbarians in that game. Like, the easiest enemy is the one we're struggling with, but we're having a good time. So
Awesome.
All right. Well, with that ending everything for us, thank you for joining this podcast and enjoying the show. And that's game over.
Shut up and sit down.